It's fantastic.
I need a Mizzou captain's hat for my cruise in July. Now. I'm on a mission. I didn't even know they made them like that.
Gotta figure out who did this, you know.
It's fantastic.
Did you know I wore mine for the first day on the cruise? Dude, I was getting all the captains.
Nice.
Mickey, everybody.
That's awesome.
Captain.
Yeah, it gets challenging though when you wear the captain's hat because like I've run out of like lines because they always like have these questions for you.
Yep.
It kind of gets old after a while. Like,
yeah, that's true. But I only wore it the first day.
You got to have all these like quick comebacks.
True.
Captain.
Which I usually have quick comebacks.
You do have good.
After like a day, I'm like out of like
I got nothing.
Like fresh material.
Captain.
I just start reusing the same stuff at that point.
What's that Lethal Weapon 4? Captain, my captain.
Captain.
Captain, my captain.
Or like Dead Poet Society. Oh, Captain.
You know, I'm glad that it's dark now because it was gray like all day and it felt like so dark. And like I just wanted it to finally be nighttime.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like I'd rather have it be this than like gray. You know what I'm saying?
Understandable.
Yes, this will be a spoiler-filled show, Adon.
I mean, I guess like kind of. If you're talking about it, you're just not seeing it. So like it depends on
behind our pictures. That is the Haunted Mansion bar.
Depends on how like spoiler-free you're wanting to get on this ship. So.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about stuff. We're gonna be talking about stuff.
I've already watched a video on the treasure, so.
Yep. Okay, so
I have been spoiled completely.
Okay, so let's start. So this will be episode 26. Here we go. All right, we'll see you next week. Hey, Rhonda Lee. Happy Wednesday. No, Monday.
Monday.
All right, here we go. Welcome to episode 2609 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you're having a great week as we are chugging along here in December. Can't believe it. 1 week out from Christmas. Big man up in the North Pole getting ready to make that big run. So hope all the kids, if you're tuned in, it's time to be extra good because he's checking that list twice and you still have time to possibly move over from the naughty to the nice list. Maybe. You got to be extra good this week. So make it happen. Anyway, in all four of us, that applies to us here on the panel today. Maybe. We'll see what happens. We're going to have a good time talking Disney Cruise Line today and Friday. So one of our favorite things, we like talking about Walt Disney World. We like talking about Disneyland, but we are talking Disney Cruise Line today because myself, Ben, who's going to be a special guest here with us today, just got back from the Disney Treasure this past weekend. But joining us today, we have the crew. Scotty G joining us from up in Michigan by way of, well, we're just talking about Frankenmuth, and now I got to go there. Scotty G, what's going on? Oh, you had a big show Sunday night. What's up?
Happy Wednesday, Mike. I loved following your and Ben's content on the Disney Treasure, and I can't wait to learn more, maybe ask some questions I've been thinking about as I was watching those great videos and photos you shared. But really quick, on theme with today, I am wearing a new captain's hat for those that are watching, and there's a Detroit Lions logo on this captain's hat. So shout out to whoever sent this to me. I had a long day at work, came home, had this package for me, and boom, came out this hat. So anyone listening or watching, if you sent this to me, major thank you. But I would love to know who sent it so that we can talk about it, because I think this is a really cool gift and very like personal to me, right? Because I like the Lions and I like to wear a captain's hat. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. If Dan Campbell was on the Disney Treasure, he'd be rocking that on deck 11. Or, if he was, just listening to some Steely Dan.
What restaurant would Dan Campbell be the restaurant manager for on the Disney Treasure?
Good one. I could see him sitting in the corner booth at the Skipper Society, possibly.
Okay, there we go.
It's a great question, though. But also joining us, and she'd be writing about this Dan Campbell sighting definitely on the Disney Treasure. We have Ricky from the mouseforless.com and at DisneyWorldAfterAll.com. Ricky, happy Wednesday. What's up?
Who? I don't know.
Who goes for it on every fourth down, whether it's
No, I got nothing.
or not.
No, got nothing. No, but I did see that one of my favorites was on this ship, and it was Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC, and I heard he actually sang "Bye Bye Bye" with some kids, which is pretty fantastic. So I think that's awesome. And once I found out he was on the ship, I would have totally been looking for him at that point. Okay. So it's a good thing I wasn't on that ship.
Okay, real quick, because Ben and I were turning to ourselves many times during the cruise, and I remember in lunch at Castaway Key, I turned to Ben and I said, "That dude right there is famous because people keep coming up to him and talking to him, and he's got a handler. No clue who this cat is." And then they were constantly filming commercials in the Grand Hall, air sailing, it was just. And they would even do the cool stuff like Hollywood. They'd be like, "Okay, quiet on the set, on the set," and they'd be like 3, 2, like in Wayne's World. They would never say one. Yeah. I was, and I'd watch them up on deck 5, dude. I was mesmerized by it. I'm such a geek. But yeah, that guy, I've not a clue who he is.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you saw the same person, but so I would have I would have lost it though if I had found out Chris Kirkpatrick was on that sailing. I'd have been like, oh, so yeah, that would have been really cool.
Pretty cool.
I wouldn't have stalked him. I just want to put that out there. I would have been respectful, but
I mean, and the women to men ratio on this cruise had been 9-1, I think, right? Is that right, guys?
100%. I mean, look at my video of me dancing the silent DJ. Well, Ben was looking down like God from up on the top deck of Sarabi the last night. I think I was the only dude besides the guy that looked kind of like Len Testa. I don't know who he was. But the ship was rolling at a 45-degree angle back and forth as we're trying to do silent disco, and all I'm doing is crashing into Annette Owens from back in the WDW.
Today.
Yeah, I got to talk to her many times. It's so great catching up with her, but it was just we're just trying to keep each other upright at that point.
Yeah, that's
rolling, and we're all listening into, I don't know, Holla Back Girl and trying to dance. It was.
The question for Ben is did you immediately get Men in Black? Because we've done silent disco. Me and Ben have done silent disco before, and Men in Black came on, and we were like, Men in Black, or maybe that was trivia. I don't remember, but yeah.
Let me introduce Ben. Ben Lappin here, special guest, one of the great agents over at the Magic for Less when I'm out of town, and I will be here in 3 weeks, suffering through a very painful 48.6 miles, which I'm not really looking forward to here shortly. And if you're one of my guests, Ben will be taking care of you. So Ben Lappin, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being my great cabin mate over the last
ahoy.
Ahoy. So how look, what's up? Happy Wednesday.
Yeah. Glad to be here, and glad to be able to recap everything that we did this past couple of days. It was an amazing adventure, an amazing opportunity. I'm glad that we were able to do it.
All right, so let's start with you right here. So what's your, how many cruises, what ships have you been on with Disney Cruise Line? And then your first thoughts on the Treasure as we arrive, because we stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge. We're going to try to keep this to 45 minutes. It's going to be a challenge, but first thoughts on the Treasure. What'd you think and your kind of background with your other experience with Cruise Line?
Absolutely. So I've done the Dream and the Magic, and comparing those two to the Treasure, I thought the Treasure was great. Thought it was very beautiful. I mean, everything flowed real nicely. One thing, and I know you've mentioned this, on other, about the other ships and everything. The only thing I didn't like about it was that it didn't have a complete, running track that goes all the way around. But other than that, I thought, the placement of the different, areas, with the adult area, the cove, I thought it was really, really nicely done.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And so I've been on all the ships again now with being on the Treasure this past weekend, and I'm with you. This ship, because again, the direct comparison with the Treasure is going to be with the Wish, right? Because it's sister ship, and the Wish is a very nice ship. I mean, it's got a lot of cool, different experiences. And what I like about Disney Cruise Line is that, the ships are different. And I think that's great. So everybody can kind of pick. It's like the Walt Disney World hotels, there's value hotels, but you can go with the All-Stars, you can go with Pop Century, and if you're in the moderates, maybe you like the feel of Riverside, or maybe you like a smaller experience because Riverside's huge. Maybe you like French Quarter. It's smaller. It's got beignets. You got different tastes for different folks. With Cruise Line, you got that as well, but you got sister ships, which are going to have different themes. The Wish, kind of a princess theme to me, which is appealing to a certain group of folks. But when I got on the Treasure, the first thing, and I saw this for 3 solid nights, 3 days we were on a ship, And I swear, I'm not kidding. This is geared to our audience. I just kept saying this over and over and over. This ship is made for the theme park enthusiast. It is everywhere. I mean, if you are somebody that likes theme parks, you need to get on this boat. It is amazing. So, I mean, Ben, did you think that too?
Yeah, 100%. Just because, I mean, you think about the main, rides or attractions at Magic Kingdom with the Haunted Mansion, being so iconic, and then Skipper Canteen, and going back, all of those. I mean, it just ties in so much, and all the different puns and all the different things that go along with it. I mean, the interaction was great. I thought, yeah, very much so towards the theme park.
Even to the entrance onto the ship. I mean, this is something minor, but all the other ships, including the Wish, as you walk onto the ship, of course they do, introduce you. They ask your family name and they make a big deal about cheers you on, which is awesome. And you go into the Grand Hall. But on the other ships, the crew is always in their dress whites, which is very formal. However, when you go onto the Disney Treasure, they are in their basically their adventure outfits. It basically looks like they are cast members working in Adventureland, which was different because they were basically in blues and oranges. Did you notice that, Ben? They were not in dress whites.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So it was very, on theme. And then the thing too, I noticed too, is you're walking around the ship. There's lots of plants everywhere. Like, I mean, there's like,
that's cool. Actually, I like that.
Walking around Adventureland. Like I was sitting in that. So if you've been on the Wish, there's a sitting area, like on deck 5, kind of by the port windows, like it was on the starboard side. But you're sitting there and there's like windows and some like couches and seats and stuff. And it was very very white area on the Wish. This area is, very oranges and browns, but there's lots of like ferns and plants everywhere. It was like jungly. And it reminded me of like
this ship is more junglier than ever. I love it.
It was great. I mean, and I loved it because it set the scene. Also, the thing is, I think we said this on the podcast cruise last July when we were on the Wish, like, and I'm sure they're going to go back and use the Wish more like this, is that they use the Grand Hall for a ton of stuff. They're playing interactive games. They have interactive shows. They're constantly using that space. It's not dead space because they have that stage there. And on the Wish, we're like, what are they using that for besides pictures? It was constantly being used, especially, we'll talk about the end of the cruise, but I mean, Ben, it was not a dead space. It was a active space.
Oh, it was definitely active. It was definitely well used. Now, I would like to see how they do it in the future when there's not as many camera crews, doing the recordings and everything else. I'd like to see how much more they use it in the future.
Yeah, because again, this was a hosted cruise with media and the whole top deck, like the deck 11 where the pools are and like where the soda machines, the free soda machines are and all that stuff. For our cruise, it was all set up with Radio Row. So they had radio stations doing their morning shows all around that deck and international radio programs. So I geeked out over it, right?
Of course you did.
Chicago, Sacramento, and then international. It was really, really cool. It looked like the Super Bowl radio, but it was really cool. So that was kind of neat. And they were filming commercials. Totally down in that Grand Hall, they were totally filming commercials because you saw like families and they had the guy, like Ben was pointing out, like, the guy had a whole camera rig on him and he was like walking with this like family hand in hand. And they were, talking to the little girl. She was like 4 or 5. How to like point at that, she's doing, okay, go back and do it again. Like point at Genie, and it was, so that'll be on a commercial at some point. We're all taking pictures. Like, I can't wait till that commercial comes out. We got to see it. But it was cool. So anyway, so let's talk stateroom. So we had a category 5A stateroom, deck 10 forward starboard. We were kind of right behind the we call that where the captain, the wing that sticks out there, the bridge.
Oh, the
bridge. And man, great stateroom there. Did you think? What'd you think about that, Ben?
I really enjoyed it. I mean, on that one, you can only sleep 3 people on that one. That one does not have the pull down berth, but for the room that you had and everything, I thought it was well done. Definitely a lot of USBs, USB-Cs, ports to use. That way you don't have to worry about bringing the extension cords and things like that. But I thought everything about it was done. I know one thing that Mike and I had found out early on is, not only is the door magnetic, but all of the walls are as well. so you can
Oh,
use the magnetic hooks on the walls and everything else, and not just the doors.
well, that's kind of
And
good to know.
and the ceilings.
Oh,
Yeah, because
what do you?
listener Jen here in the Westplex of St. Charles County was asking about that when we got on the ship. I was doing an Instagram live. She's like, "Did you know that you ask all because the other ships, the walls outside of your door, not just the door, the adjacent walls are magnetic." So our stateroom host was standing right there. So I said, "Are these walls magnetic too?" Because like I didn't want to be the dork that was trying to like put a mag. But I wouldn't try to, I'm not calling you out, Ben, but Ben's like, I have my MagSafe charger. Boom, we're putting that on everything around. He's like, our stateroom host is great. He's like,
Yeah, it was great.
he's like, put it on the ceiling.
Oh, that's fun.
Of course, we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, the ceilings are magnetic too. So if you want to decorate,
Aren't all the staterooms like that though? Like because I've used the hooks. We always bring our hooks. That's how we hang our swimsuits in the staterooms.
Yeah, probably they all are. I just never thought to think,
Okay. That's always one of my cruise line tips is like bring hooks for like metal hooks so that you can hang your clothes and stuff like because we run out of space a lot on these staterooms, I will say. So it's nice for like drying like wet clothes and stuff.
Yeah, but he's like, so you could decorate outside of your door on the walls because people are hanging like, of course I'm not that prepared. My wife didn't come, so I was like struggling. Like when I had to pack my bag to go over to Castaway Key to run and stuff, I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna forget everything. I was just lucky to get over and back because she always packs the bag. But yeah, people had like the Christmas decorations on the doors and like the light up stuff and the garland and stuff. I mean, our door looked like two dudes that didn't have anything on it, so we looked kind of sad. But yeah, so you can even decorate your ceiling if you want. But that was cool. Yeah, the room was great. The bathroom again, split bath because deluxe room. One thing about this ship, there are no deluxe insides. They're all standard insides. So if you book an inside, it's not going to have a split. We got to tour. There's no virtual portholes on this ship, so those are not something you would get with this class. Just a heads up on that, but they're nice.
I think it's really interesting though that they did away with the virtual portholes for this.
I did too. I said the same thing because I mean, technically, they're not that hard to pull off.
Right?
Why? But there must be a reason.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Yeah, maybe they go down a lot more than we think they do on the other ships, or something like that. So, I was actually because we sailed on the Wish, and I was surprised that there were not virtual portholes on the ship on the Wish. So obviously the Treasure would be the same. So
yep, and we got to tour the tower suite in the funnel. So if you want to book that, it's Mike.Rallman at the Magic. And put it in a quote. And I'll take care of you. It's really sweet. 3 bedrooms, and the kids' bedroom is the bomb. That's the one. If you want to bring your travel agent with you to help you out and get sodas and stuff for you,
nice.
There you go.
It's the Exploration Earth, right?
Tomorrowland. It's got Figment statues in it. Just check Ben put together reels that look really cool. He can take care of it. But they're really cool, man. I got pictures on my Instagram as well of like Figment statues. There's like a piece of art down in the entertainment area on the first floor. Get that? Yeah, right. Like a Spaceship Earth looking piece of art. The chandelier is unbelievable. That goes like both stories in front of the big window, the forward funnel. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's like we can't even describe it. You just gotta go look at the videos of the picture. I mean, 3 bedrooms.
And not only the bedrooms, but the bathrooms were just amazing. I mean, floor to ceiling windows, with the showers and the bathtubs. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Very opulent, right?
Yeah.
Very opulent.
Oh,
yes.
Fancy.
I mean, I just would never leave that room.
No, at that point, and with the amount of money you're paying, I mean, why would you at that point? Yeah,
it had to be an itinerary that I had no interest in, like ever leaving the ship for, honestly. And I would do room service in my stateroom.
Exactly, that's it.
And by the way, so the ship, we haven't said this, but the ship alternates Eastern and Western 7-night Caribbean cruises. The Treasure will, so it'll do Western and then Eastern, go back and forth. It's taken over what the Fantasy ran for over a decade. So that's where you will be going on the Treasure, at least for the foreseeable future, which is a great run. I highly recommend the Eastern, but Eastern is beautiful. I mean, because you get those, if you like sea days, which I love sea days to be on the ship and explore and relax. But the Western is great too because it has great ports if you like to do stuff like in Cozumel and Falmouth and Grand Cayman, and all that stuff. So can't go wrong either way. Okay, so here's another tip. Then I think this is so if you're in that suite and you want to go into the Haunted Mansion bar, which is going to be super popular on your cruise, they save seats, the best seats in the bar, and I'm sure these are for the people that have the Tomorrowland suite.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because they kept the best 4 seats in the Haunted Mansion bar the whole time we were there. Like everybody would like be looking for a seat, right? Everybody's like going in and like kind of like looking around, trying to find a seat. And it was cool. You could stand at the bar if you wanted, just kind of hang out and stand if you needed to, because people trying to get content. But the best 4 seats were like reserved, right? They had these sippers in the seats that you can buy, but then like they would bring in VIPs and like, oh, here, have these seats. And so they were probably like the NSYNC people or whoever was filming commercials or whatever while we were on the ship. But I'm sure those are reserved for the people in the tower suite if they want to roll in and not have to wait. They get the right by the fish tank.
Sweet.
We'll talk about that in a second. So we talk staterooms. We can't go that long on everything. Shows real quick. We saw the Moana show, which is only going to be on the Disney Treasure. And I'm not a show guy. Like I'm not a big show guy. Awesome show. Once I got past the fact that it wasn't The Rock that was playing Maui, it was kind of a skinny.
Okay.
He's not as ripped, but he was pretty good. And the show was awesome. So Ben, we had Beauty and the Beast also. I didn't go to the show the first night. You did. So give us.
No, I didn't go. I didn't go to the show the first night either. But Moana, I mean, it was phenomenal. The way that they transformed everything, and especially at the very end when you've got Tahiti or what's the Tafiti. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Whenever it's coming out, I mean, they bring it just live action, just bringing it out in the middle of the show. And to start with, you look at it and it's like, all right, well, that's digital in there, but the way that they take it, and then I'm not going to spoil it, for anybody, but the way that they bring it in and bring it to life. I mean, I hate that you couldn't do, videos or pictures, but I understand why, because you can only describe it by saying you've got to see it in person. It's phenomenal. It really, really brings it to life.
I've heard nothing but amazing things about this Moana show. So
it was awesome. I'm not even a show dude, and I was like, at the end of the show, I'm like, woo! It was unreal. I mean, it was so cool.
I've heard it's ridiculously good. So good for them.
And I thought I'd seen the movie, but then I was like, how's she like going up to the volcano and like just like giving her the heart? Like, why is the volcano not killing her? Like, I don't get it. But then that's the only spoiler.
It makes sense. Yeah, that it makes sense. Yes.
So I don't know if that's a spoiler because I'm sure at this point everybody's seen the movie. And then I was like, is there a lobster in this thing? Like, what's up with that jazzy lobster?
It's a crab.
Yeah, whatever. It was like, dude, the jazzy lobster was killing it. Like, it was the jazzy lobster might steal the show. But it was funny. But I'm like, is that part of the movie too?
Yes.
I didn't know. I thought maybe they just added that because that was like, that guy kind of stole the show. It was
she was great.
She was awesome. Because she was also the wardrobe in Beauty and the Beast.
Right.
I think. That's what I like about cruises, right? Because it's like you see the same people like the next night, they're a totally different like person in the next play or the next show, and you're like, oh, they're awesome in both parts. Anyway, Beauty and the Beast was great too. I know that's been on other ships, but they did a great job because what it is, it's the retelling of the live action of Beauty and the Beast. It was good. It was really funny. It was great. I almost shed a tear because I missed my girls. Tried not to. Tried to hang in there. It's tough. But don't miss the shows. And the Walt Disney Theater is amazing. So we did that. Dining, we had 3 restaurants. We started in 1923. Very similar to the Wish. We had a heck of a table. First of all, we got to send a shout out to our dining mates. We ate with Janelle and Chris from Atlanta, by the way.
Awesome.
Ricky,
awesome.
Back of the woods. Chris is actually a DeSmet grad from St. Louis, U City. So that's kind of cool. We got to talk about St. Louis. So that was fun, but we had a table. It was weird though, because the ship was not full while we sailed. So Ben and I assumed that we had this table to ourselves. It was a table for 4 the first night, right? So we thought it was just going to be our table, right? So we just sat across from each other, right?
Yes.
They showed up to dinner late.
Oh.
So here they come rolling in, like I'd already touched their plates and stuff.
Oh no.
And I'm like, oh no, we have another couple joining us. We didn't think they were coming. They were kind of late. They're like 15 minutes late. I'm like, oh shoot. And so they had to sit across from each other because Ben and I had sat across from each other. They were the coolest people ever. They're like, we don't care. We've been married forever.
That's how you'd want to do it anyway.
I sit across from Brian. I sit across from Brian.
I get nervous. Okay, that's how. Okay,
that's who you're going to talk to the most.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Here's the deal, though. But then the camera dude comes around, right? The photographer for the ship.
No.
I got a picture with his wife, dude.
No!
Eventually, because
Oh,
we
the
were
first night.
joking, right? The last night we got a picture. I got a picture with Janelle, and then Ben and Chris got their picture together.
Nicely done. Yes.
Exactly. Because by then we were just having a good time. So anyway, yeah, it was kind of weird. Anyway, because we were having fun. We knew each other at that point. Once you cruise with people, you know people. That's how you make friends.
Yeah.
So anyway, 1923, good food. It's great. This good food, but it was super squashed in there. Like we had a table where we were really squished in. But again, shout out to Walt and Roy. That's kind of the theme of the restaurant. But it was just like the Wish. So what were your thoughts real quick, Ben, on 1923? Did you like it?
I thought the food was good. It wasn't, anything over the top, that raved about, but at the same time, it was really, really good. It was good, solid, for the appetizers. I think I had like the baked oysters and the lobster bisque. It was really, really good. I enjoyed it. Like Mike said, and it wasn't the table that was squished, together. So it wasn't a super, super small table, but it was the placement of the tables. So between, the next table right beside us, there was only probably 6 inches. And then between the aisleway, maybe, 2 feet, or 2 or 3 feet. So to try to get the servers through there, it made it, a little cramped. But overall, great service, great food.
Yeah, and our table was right by the serving station. So we were kind of like in like a path. It was
Yeah.
Now the restaurant of the night was our middle restaurant. The middle night was Coco. Dude, that restaurant
looks amazing.
Oh my god, that restaurant is the bomb. I wish I could eat every meal in El Plaza del Coco. It is so cool. So it's the obviously the same restaurant is the Arendelle restaurant on the Wish, right? It's the same location, same space, because when you walk in, if you've been on the Wish, you could totally see it. It's exactly the same space.
Actually, I had that same conversation with Brian when we were watching one of the videos. I was like, oh yeah, that's exactly where Frozen is. Like I could totally see where the Arendelle walkway. Yeah. I was like,
and it's just when you go in, you can totally see it. But they did it. They nailed it. It is so just beautiful. It's a plaza. I told Ben, to me, it reminded me of walking into Epcot's Mexico Pavilion, because it's like all of a sudden you're going into kind of like a darker, like kind of evening setting, even though it kind of was evening. We were on early dining, but of course they had this, Mexican music playing, and immediately you want to get my heart anytime at a meal. Boom, we sit down. Chips and salsa, boom, on the table. I'm like, let's go. Chips and salsa on the table. Yeah,
you have to.
Heck yeah.
It's not a Mexican restaurant without chips and salsa on the table.
Yeah, there you go. And then appetizers were things like empanadas and I don't know. I can't remember. Ben, do you remember? Because I remember. I just got empanada.
I think y'all got empanadas. I got the enchiladas. They were, and it was really, really good. Enjoyed it.
And I got like black bean soup for like an appetizer, and then of course carnitas for the main course. It came with guacamole and basically I made like fajitas because I didn't even know it came with like little wrappers or whatever they're called on
tortillas,
soft taco wrappers. Dude, I'm so fancy, dude. All a second they just give me my food and I just destroy it. I don't ask questions. I'm terrible. They're like, I'm never setting him on a cruise to review anything because he doesn't know what to call stuff. He just destroys it. But I took pictures, and then
it's a good review, Mike. This is
exactly. Good. I'm the everyman. I'm the John Madden of reviews. Bam. But then they gave me the little mini churros and the caramel sauce, dude. And of course, got it all over myself and was happy and happy Mike. But here's the great thing: it was such a beautiful restaurant for the whole time, and I have not seen the movie Coco. And Miguel gets up there and starts playing his guitar and plays like 6 notes, and his guitar breaks. His strings, like boom! All of a sudden, the strings all break. But he sees a white guitar sitting on the stage, and he decides, should I play that white guitar?
Yes,
he does. And then when he does, boom! Magic happens.
Of course.
And people start showing up. Grandma and grandpa, or somebody, I don't know. They were like great grandma and grandpa, I think. Yeah. They start telling the El Poco Loco stories, and it was awesome. That story, I was about to cry from that song. That song's sad. Or no, Remember Me was a sad.
Remember Me.
Oh, dude, stop it! While I'm trying to eat like
you
Mexican
need
food.
to see that movie. It's so good.
And I was telling Chris across the way, dude. I told him, dude, I don't watch Disney movies because they make me sad. Once I saw Up, that's the last time because
that's the worst one. Up really is. I mean,
it's Up because it destroys me. I don't want to be that old.
I don't watch Up anymore either. Like I the first 3 minutes of Up, I'm done. I can't watch it anymore.
All this talk just makes me want to have Harmonious come back.
Yeah, especially
so much
sad stuff. I got
enough. You know the stuff with Up and you know them losing the baby and like that. Like as someone who had trouble, that killed me. Like I was like, okay, I can't do this movie anymore. But like, remember me, Coco? Like it hits in the feels, but it's not like I don't know. I didn't overtly like bawl like I did with Up, so I don't know. But it's still good. It's still good. You gotta see it. You gotta see it.
I am probably gonna see it at some point once football's totally over. This is the best weekend ever because it's the college football playoff, so it ain't gonna be this weekend. But Jason gets me. But here's the thing, like. They have like a Spanish dancer that comes out doing like with her dress and she can dance. And then Miguel dances with her and grandma and grandpa, they can dance. And they're like in their, you know, they got the like black, you know, like the
Dia de los
Muertos like outfits. Yes. And you can tell that they're like, you know, they're from the dead because, you know, they got the look. And I mean, it's just, and they walk around the restaurant and sing and there's a mariachi band, you know, that follows them around because they're playing the music live. I mean, it is my jam. Ben, I keep talking about it. I gotta let you go because
you're perfectly fine. And I mean, the food was great. Like you said, you feel like you're going into, you know, the Mexico Pavilion with everything. The thing that I really liked about it was you could see everything going on the stage, but then also then they come down and they're going through the aisles as well. So it gives everybody an opportunity to see all of the, you know, all of the actors and actresses and everything else. It was a really, really good theming, and it wasn't too much. It wasn't too loud and over the top. I mean, it was a perfect setting on that one.
Nice.
Oh, I could eat there every night. Okay. So you're going to love this restaurant. This restaurant is it's probably my favorite restaurant on any Disney ship.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, it is. Yeah, totally is. Okay. Unequivocally. Okay. So the next night we ate at the the Avengers restaurant, Marvel. And again, never seen an Avengers movie never seen a Marvel movie in my life. So I have no idea what's going on. I do like the little Groot guy that comes on and talks about stuff. I love the music. I'm an 80s and 70s music dude. I'm all about celebration and, you know, one way or another. I feel like I was writing Guardians of the Galaxy without being sick. But of course, the ship started rocking right after dinner. We'll talk about that in a second. But meal was great. I mean, we decided in this restaurant we like the appetizers more than the main courses. Our friend got all the appetizers, and he pretty much won dinner. So Ben, give us a review of this restaurant for us.
So on the appetizers, like you said, Mike, the appetizers were definitely the star of the show. I think we all got, you know, multiple, especially with it being the last night, we got all multiple, you know, different appetizers and entrees and desserts and the whole 9 yards just to try everything. But the appetizers were definitely the star of that one. The one thing I thought it was a great location, great ambiance as far as you're coming into the Avengers. I mean, you kind of feel like you're going into the Avengers campus, you know, out at DCA. Mm-hmm. What I liked it, but what I didn't think fit real well was the fact that it was, you know, the Guardians coming on. And it didn't really have a good tie into the Avengers part of it because everything is the Avengers. So I'm thinking if they had brought in more of, you know, Thor or Iron Man or any of those onto the TVs, I think that would have made a little bit more, you know, better fit on that. One thing that I think all of us, you know, talked about was there was no, other than the TV screens, there was no characters that came around. And then come to find out they did that on the first night, but they didn't do it on the last night. So, well, and I say that they didn't have any characters, but the very end of it, you know, all of the, you know, the wait staff and everything had flags and we're going around and doing that. Well, Chris, the guy beside us, said, "Do the worm." And lo and behold, one of the servers comes out and does the best worm.
Stop.
I swear. It was fantastic. And of course, Mike, you know, has the perfect shot going all the way down the aisle. He's mesmerized by the guy. He can't get out his phone quick enough. And then it's over.
And it's over. It's done. Yeah.
Chip. We now follow this dude on Instagram because we had to talk to him after. He was not our server. He was like serving tables like 5 down, right? And no kidding. So Chris sitting across from us yells, because there's playing Celebration. They're all, doing the final night, like waving the flags, walking up and down all the servers. Do the worm. And I thought it came from the other side of the restaurant. I didn't know it was from our table. Anyway, they all go back to their stations. The song that, like, as it was wrapping up, I just hear, because it was like a marble floor in that restaurant.
Yeah.
Dude, for real, the best worm I've seen in my life. I mean, not half worm, dude. He is worming like where he's coming like almost off the ground with every move, and he went at least 10 yards. I mean,
kind of like the waves that night, huh?
Oh god, it didn't start rocking during dinner. It started rocking right after dinner. But like, dude, this guy got a first time. Like, he was, like you could hear his ribs. Like that's how hard the floor was, and this guy was a skinny dude. Like you could hear his ribs.
Oh my gosh.
And he's Scott. He's just like you, dude. He's from Glasgow, Scotland. Because I follow him on Instagram now, dude. He's like just like you, dude. He's got the beard kind of the same color as you, and he's like his head was bright red. That was about to blow up, man. But he was given 110%. Like, is not giving him enough credit. He was given everything he had, and it was the best worm. And I give this guy 1,000%. It was unbelievable how hard he was working. I loved it. But it was like everybody's like, Mike, did you get that on video? I'm like, I was so mesmerized with Chip doing the worm down there. I couldn't even pick up my phone. I couldn't take my eyes off the guy. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And everybody's like, oh my God, you didn't get the worm guy. I'm like, no, because I couldn't take my eyes off him. And then it was over. I missed the moment, but it was unbelievable. That's kind of the thing. Like a cruise, you never know what's going to happen. It was great. So Chippy Dippy, I think is what his name is on it. Something. Well, I'll tweet out his Instagram because he's pretty cool. But yeah, we had that. But you do get the characters. We got the second night experience. You get the characters on the first one, Spider-Man or somebody comes around. So,
yeah, it should be Spider-Man, I think. Yeah.
So that was awesome. So now let's transition. I'm going to let Ben kind of walk us through the lounges, because the lounges are where the theme park folks are going to, because I know you're here for Haunted Mansion. I'm not dumb. Okay. So Ben, tell us about Haunted Mansion Lounge, because you had, if you don't know, Ben had the jacket that looks like,
of course. Yes. Did I get that jacket and send it to you? Is that one of the ones that I said?
No, you got me the Mickey and Minnie, or the Mickey pumpkin head.
Pumpkin one. Okay, yeah. All right. I knew I'd gotten you one and sent it to you. So yeah.
So let's start with Haunted Mansion. We'll talk about also Skipper Society and Periscope Pub, but go for it.
So on the Haunted Mansion, I know Mike had kind of talked about it, to start with as far as it's going to be a super popular, but a lot of people are going, okay, well, is it going to have a time limit? The answer is yes, it is going to have a time limit, kind of like Oga's. There's a sign outside that says, 45 minutes, So the first night that we went in, super, super packed. I mean, you couldn't find a table, a bar stool, anywhere to even lounge, or stand up at. It was super, super packed. But I'm thinking it's just because it was the first night. Everybody wanted to see it. We went, the second day, and it was a whole lot more relaxed. We were able to go in there. But everything from the little foyer as you're coming into the main, to the door handle, I mean, everything is spot on. You are walking straight into the Haunted Mansion ride itself.
So cool.
They've got the artwork on the walls, that changes whenever it does the flashes of lightning. They've got, the candelabra. They've got the wallpaper, but now the wallpaper, what was cool about it that I was pointing out to Mike is it's not just wallpaper. I mean, it's actual fabric that it has gone through, and it's textured fabric. It's
That's
done
cool.
right. But all of the the mirror on the back of the bar area, it's got the hitchhiking ghost. It's got Madame Leota. I mean, they did it right. Whenever you go in, there's multiple different drink options that you can get. Mike and I both got the chilling
chilling challenge.
Yeah, chilling challenge, which was to me probably the best value on any of the drinks there. It comes out in a smoker box, and what they do is they'll put it in one of the machines, and it does the writing on the top of it with a UV light, and then they shine the UV light, and it shows Haunted Mansion on top of it. But whenever they open the box, it's got the smoke pouring out.
Nice.
I mean, it's really, really good. The cast member interaction is phenomenal there. One of the the bartenders gave me the bell to ring whenever Madame Leota was saying her seance and everything. I got to do that. But then also, Mike and I noticed, and if you look on the menu, it's going to be under the kids menu portion of it, or the non-alcoholic drinks. But Mike and I both got the Hatbox Ghost sipper.
Oh, cool.
With one of 4 drinks, and it is so cool. Now the
That's
4
awesome.
drinks, you don't have to. It comes in a glass bottle. You don't have to drink them right away. We took them back to the stateroom. I've got mine, right beside me. But it was so cool. Over the top, just phenomenal.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's really
let me
cool.
tell you this Hatbox Ghost Sipper. I mean, it's cool because, and again, this is audio podcast, but I mean, his head lights up and then his head disappears and his head lights up in the hat box.
That's
And
so cool.
he comes with a bottle of soda. And now here's the cool thing about the bottle of soda is it comes in 4 flavors. It's like grape, cola, lemon, lime, lemonade, and something else like Sprite. And the bottle is glass.
Oh,
And
wow.
the bottle is actually branded for the Haunted Mansion bar.
I'm surprised that they gave it as
You get,
glass.
I know. And here's the deal. You get all this. Now, I feel like I'm a salesman here. You get all this. You also you get a playing card from the Haunted Mansion bar, and you get a death certificate for $22.
Oh, that's
The
actually a
bottle
really good
soda,
deal.
The sipper, a death certificate. What did that come with the chilling challenge? Because we
Yeah.
were drinking. It was like
No, it didn't come with no. So the death certificate
it
came with
was
the chilling
fun, 'cause
challenge.
we were buying all this at the same time.
Oh, okay. Got it.
The death certificate came with the chilling challenge.
Yeah, the death certificate came with the chilling challenge. Yeah.
Okay, and the death certificate's really cool. So you get a death certificate with the chilling challenge. What am I even saying? If somebody's listening outside the door right now, this podcast on the other side is also hearing me saying this. They're like, what is he talking about? Okay, so you get a death certificate, which is super cool as a collector with the chilling challenge. And you got that little playing card that came with the sipper.
Yes.
Or that came with the chilling challenge.
One of the two.
Okay.
I don't know.
We got a playing card too. Okay, anyway, it was cool. But the bottle of soda itself, which
That's cool.
by the way, I broke in stateroom 10-520 because I was an idiot. And right before I was like, I'm not going to take this full bottle in my suitcase on the plane because I'm scared it'll blow up in my luggage. So I'm like, I'm going to drink it real quick. And then the bartender told us, she was like, before you drink that, make sure you shake it up and stir it because it's got sediment. It's real thick cola. So Ben's like, oh, dude, don't drink it yet. Make sure you shake it up and stir it like the bartender told you. So I'm like, okay. So I shook it.
Oh,
like an
no.
idiot. Ben, it's going to blow up. So all over the sink in the bathroom, 520. So sorry to our room.
Mike, it was clear because, of course, he couldn't bring it on the airplane. I brought mine home because I drove. But whenever you shake it up,
it's awesome looking. Look at this. It's like a tornado. Yeah,
That's cool.
I wish I wouldn't have dumped mine. It's so cool looking.
That's cool.
The bottles are cool. So yeah, if you go to the Haunted Mansion bar, get the sipper. And also, there's a secret menu. You got to move words around on the menu, and it gives you a secret menu.
I like
Okay.
that.
So let's talk about. I liked Periscope Pub too. Periscope Pub is where I want to say Ale and Compass. It's not Ale and Compass. It's Keg and Compass on the Wish. It is so cool. And here's the one thing I want to say. I went in there the first place I went on the ship when I got on. Met up with Marcy, our representative from Disney that works with our travel agency, and went in there. And I was like, "Oh, this place is cool." Like, 'cause it's kind of the sports bar like equivalent for this ship. And I went in there and I was like, "Oh, dude, this is awesome." Themed to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, just cool. But then I was like, "Oh my God, there's no place to watch sports on this ship. There's no TVs in this place ever." And I called my wife. I talked to my wife on FaceTime. I was like, "I love this ship. I love the ship. There's nowhere to watch sports. I'm going to be bummed." So I was like, I'll just get over it. It's 3 days. And lo and behold, I go back on Thursday night and all these screens that had all this cool stuff going on, they're all TVs, 20 of them. Like probably 20 at least, but they were so well hidden that afternoon. I had no idea that there was one TV in the Periscope Pub. All of a sudden, like everything popped out and they were showing the Rams and 49ers game. That's how well themed it is. But it is so cool in there. Like the ceiling has sharks and different kinds of fish and octopuses, like octopi, I guess you should say, like hammerhead sharks going by, and just like you hear a boop, boop, in the background, and it's so dark and blue, and oh my gosh, it's so relaxing in there. I love Periscope. What'd you think, Ben?
Oh, I agree. Yeah, the first night it is a little deceiving because it's you walk in and like Mike said, if you're looking for a TV, you're not going to find it. They hide it real well, but it's nice. It's not even with the games playing, it wasn't too loud or anything else. That's where you can find the drink that Mike posted that has the big bubble on top of it, and then you pop it and the smoke goes everywhere. Um, and I think that was the Octus margarita, and it was
good. Oh
yeah.
man, it's got sugar rim. Whew.
But overall, I mean, it was, and they've got a lot of beers on tap there. They've even got pub food as well, so they got wings were coming out as well. I mean, it's a really good, nicely done, good atmosphere, good spacing, and everything else. And it's right there near, it's right there on the backside of Sarabia as well.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Oh, it's the equivalent of like an O'Gill's on the Fantasy, or the 687 on the Dream. It's your sports pub kind of catcher, but it's bigger space. And the other one you have that you want to visit is Skipper Society, which is the Tiana's place, kind of in that middle of deck 5. I guess it's deck 5. They're kind of out in the open where they'll have live band, like 3-piece bands, live jazz music going on. We didn't go in Scat Cat too much, but this is kind of the big one where they'll do like trivias and stuff like that. But on the bar's kind of on the other end, very well themed though. And they have the two little, Scott, I know you spend a ton of time in there with Jared and all them, those two little like booths on the Wish
rooms.
Yeah. But they have like the tiki birds and this one. Very cool. So I didn't spend much time here, but I kind of passed through a few times. It's very well themed to kind of Adventureland and, nods to like Adventurers Club and Skipper's the Skipper
Canteen,
Skipper Canteen, stuff like that. Yeah, Jungle Cruise, all that. It's kind of.
I thought it was really done, really nicely done. I like the theming of it. I like the puns, of course. I love Skipper Canteen in the Magic Kingdom because of the puns, and they do the same thing. There was one saying on it. Don't take the pictures from the wall because they're nailed there for a reason. And I mean, it just nicely done. One of the drinks, they had was the boat. And of course, I unfortunately did not get it, because I'm thinking, well, I don't really need another, knickknack, but they served the drink in there. It's a bourbon drink. They do have, and I know a lot of people may or may not have seen it, they do have a secret menu on there as well. But it is for Club 33 members only. And I even asked about it, and they said that you do have to show your Club 33 card in order to order the drink.
Of course you asked about it.
And I showed
you
mine.
tried to get it. I mean, I'm not surprised.
So I did get to see it when I showed my card, but I can't tell you about it. So.
Yeah, no. Stop lying to people.
Sorry, suckers. That'd be a Patreon show.
No.
Just playing. Just joking. I'm not even allowed to even say 33 because I'm so poor. But here's the deal. They also, on the Wish, they have Tiana's, they sell beignets, right? On this one, the equivalent is they have waffles with different toppings. So you can get like
that's
caramel.
An interesting choice for
they're like fancy waffles. Look at my Instagram. They're like waffles with like Nutella, like apple cinnamon. What was it?
Apple cinnamon.
Apple cinnamon.
All right.
Go with your drinks. They look good. They have them laid out.
And there is an old fashioned for breakfast that you can get. And it's a smoked old fashioned with the waffle as well.
Of course there is. Yeah. You got it, didn't you?
Unfortunately, I did not.
No. Okay.
So the 7 night, then yes.
Yeah, that's the thing is like we only got to do 3 nights. This would be perfect for every night to explore because we can get a ton of time. They also have in the space of Nightingales on the Wish. It's called the Scat Cat Lounge, which is a piano bar. Kind of, we didn't spend time in there, but it was kind of same. I didn't go in there. Did you?
I went in there just for one, ordered one drink from Sam, and that was it. But like you said, it's a piano bar, nicely done. A little dark in there, but other than that, I liked it.
So the adult venue is called Sarabi. Scott? You remember on the Wish? What was it called? Luna. I'm not a big fan of this, to be honest. I prefer like Evolution in the Tube on the Dream, and it just seems like it's 2 stories, which is nice. It's got the kind of balcony seating and stuff. It just seems more, I like the more closed in, like in the back of the ship. This is my personal preference, but they had some nice shows. The first night they had a comedy kind of improv show with the gentleman who did all the kind of the adult, like shows, like outside of the main theater shows. He's the guy who played the genie on the fantasy this summer, and he is so good. I'm such a fan of him because he's got such good comedy like skills. And they did the show themed to it was called the Sarabi Supper Club. And like this lady came out and sang jazz music at first, but then like these two other people who kind of did all the other shows, this gentleman and this lady, came in and they go, "Oh, we want to show you our act." And they took over and they did like these Indiana Jones like improv skits. And I mean, you cannot miss it. It was so hilarious because they had again nods to the theme parks. Like they talked about like this, they did the short round bit where like she was in the little train car and he was Indiana Jones. But the whole thing was they stop and they say, "Choose wisely." And you got to like pick, and the audience picks whether they should do this or that. And then they improv that scene. But like when they were on that like train or whatever, like the mine train with a short round, like they stopped and they played the Big Thunder Mountain, like background, like music kind of, and like they stopped for their shot, like they were taking a theme park photo on ride photo. I mean, it was, it's like there's nods to people that like Walt Disney, like Disney parks, like everywhere. And so that was kind of fun. Again, back to the Grand Hall. One afternoon they were doing this it was an interactive show, but they had like 50 or 60 people. What they did was they took ropes and made like 2 Jungle Cruise boats in the main hall. And the guy that played the genie, he was like the Jungle Cruise skipper of the one boat. That's when you, Scott, I was talking to you and you heard the background loop from the Jungle Cruise.
Yes.
The lady had the other boat and they were doing like these challenges against each other. And it was like a Jungle Cruise challenge kind of show, kind of game show kind of thing. And they were using the whole lobby, like throwing hula hoops and like making their boat go faster. And they got points for different challenges they can play. It was great. I mean, it was all Jungle Cruise themed. I just love how they're just doing stuff like this and getting people involved. But it's around theme park IP. It was fun. It was cool. So what other stuff did you see, Ben, around the ship that you saw like that?
So I didn't see that in the main hall. What I spent a lot of time, whenever Mike would do his own thing, I spent a lot of time in the spa area and the rainforest room. Let's get our time in there, get the money's worth of the rainforest room.
Yes.
Really, really enjoyed it. And I've done the rainforest room on both the Disney, the Dream and the Magic as well. There, I really, really liked it. They had the steam room, they had the dry sauna, and then on this one they've got a cold room as well. So to do that, cold plunge, hot and cold, thing. The only thing about it is it was nicely done, nicely themed, but I think it was more of a mental thing because you go in there and they've got the AC on, and they've got this giant ice machine basically in the middle of it, and it's pushing up ice, but it's lights, the white lights and the blue lights, so it makes you think that it's colder, but it's only 57 degrees. So when you're going from one to the other, it's like, okay, well it's cool, pun intended, but it's not as cold as you would like for it to be if you're trying to do that cold plunge, challenge. They did, of course, they had the 3 different showers. They didn't have the scents in them like they have on the other ships. But of course, the 3 different showers have the 3 different pressures on them and everything else. And you get the rainforest, overhead, and then, different points on those. Nicely done. They had, of course, they've got the Adirondack, benches to lay on the tiles. The spa area or the whirlpool area are outside, and those are only open during daylight. So at sunset, those closed. Which the only other thing too is I didn't like about it is during the high winds, those were also closed. So I would have liked to maybe seen those inside so that you could take advantage of those more. But there were a lot of the huge round couches and everything else that you see in the adult areas, in the cove areas. They had those laid out all over the place. Really, really nicely done. Great place to go and relax. Really enjoyed those.
Very nice. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we're missing that's like a major difference or a major like update from the treasure that the other ships don't have, because like the Cove Cafe, I went in there, that's the same as the Wish. The adult area in the back with the infinity pool, the same. The Aqua Mouse is the same. We had a very, very windy sailing. It was super windy the entire time. We had, just real quick, we had 14. Apparently, somebody told me we had 14-foot swells the night we were coming back into Port Canaveral, and it was really, really rocking. I mean, that one we hit one wave at about 2:00 in the morning. Ben knows I screamed out in the night. I'm not scared or anything, and I wasn't scared. It just woke me up because the bed came out from under me, and I was just like, "Where'd my bed go?"
Yeah.
I mean, it just went. It was like, I mean, I found it again because gravity, right? And I came back into it. That's good, but it's just kind of startling when the bed just kind of all of a sudden disappears from you at 2:00 in the morning when you're exhausted after 3 days of fun. But in the ship started rolling as we were doing the silent disco that night too, which was kind of fun because I was out there. And again, like Ben said in the preview, or I don't know if we did this earlier, but like it was mostly women on the cruise, a lot of women. And I like to dance, I like to do silent disco. There's a few other guys out there. So I got out there, it's the end of the cruise. Who cares? So I was out there, we're all dancing, and it was almost like a forced, Ricky will get this reference. It was like being at In Cahoots back in the day. Here in North County, it was our country bar back in the 90s and early 2000s. And it was like doing line dancing kind of, but like to, I don't know, like it was Holla Back Girl or something. But like we were line dancing only because the ship would like roll super hard one way and everybody on the dance floor would just go, and even the like people working, like the guy and the gal hanging out the headphones, we'd all just slam over to it was like a mosh pit. And then like everybody be like, "Woo, that was fun." Now and the ship will go the other way, and everybody it was like it was the craziest thing. It was fun. It was the last night of cruise. Who cared, right? Yeah. And everybody's like, "This is awesome." So yeah, and then it got worse at night. But I'm not trying to scare people away from cruise. It was awesome. It was just it was a bonus. Now it was a feature, not a bug, is what I would call it. It was great. I didn't even pay extra for it, so it was really cool. So kind of fun because what we're gonna do on Friday is just Scott and Ricky and anybody in the chat that wants to ask questions. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take questions and add a few like other things about the treasure, but we want to hit the major stuff here on Wednesday. So Ben, any other things that we missed from the treasure here as we close?
I don't think so. I think everything was done really, really nice. I'm really looking forward to going on it again, especially with my family. But even like with the kids area, they get the Hero Zone, which I thought was a really, really nice place for the kids because you didn't have to worry about it being outside. Once again, on other ships, with the basketball and everything else and ping pong, it's all indoors. So I really, really like that part of it as well.
Yeah, the Hero Zone is like a multi-purpose for folks that haven't seen the Wish or this class of a ship. None of the other ships have anything like this. It's like a multi-purpose, kind of almost like a gymnasium on this ship, which is amazing. Like the ping pong areas inside, they have air hockey tables, foosball, and they can use this for. They had when I was on the Wish, we did our podcast cruise. I embarrassed myself terribly with like an inflatable obstacle course. I'm still not recovered from that.
I have scars from the inflatable obstacle course. Still, they're
mental scars.
They're on my elbows because I bit it real good on that obstacle course.
It's my ego. It still hurts. All right, so we're going to come back on Friday. More Disney treasure talk, but be more interactive listener questions. We're just going to be going back and forth with some of the we'll talk a little shopping and other stuff like that as well. Hooks Barbary. There's some of the minor stuff, the coffee bars, stuff like that. So come on back on Friday, and we'll be talking listener questions as far as the treasure. So if you have a question, hang out with us. Let's talk about it on Friday. But until then, don't forget our show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. You want to sail with Disney Cruise Line? We'd love to help you plan that vacation. Just go over to themagicforless.com, fill out the quote form. Best part is we'll get you up to a 5% onboard credit that you can put towards a cool hat like this, a cool pullover, a quarter zip. If Peyton Manning sailed the Disney treasure, this is exactly what he would wear. Quarter zip right here. I guarantee you that. But you can also use it for that chilling challenge. You can get the sipper with it. I don't care. Just don't use it for your prepaid gratuities. I'll find you. Don't use it for that. That's boring. So have fun with that. Just check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link as you do that final stretch of holiday shopping. I should probably start soon. It's over at beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our Patreon supporters. You guys make the show possible. It's patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. When you support us, just $5 a month, you get our bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this weekend. We'd love to have you. Again, patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. You can follow me on this social media and check out all my coverage at Be Our Guest Mike. Over on Instagram is where it all is, but I'm also on Twitter and Threads. You can follow Scott at Epscott, EPSCOT. Check out his YouTube channel at Must See Adventures. Ricky is at Ricky Nibs. Check her out at themouseforless.com and DisneyWorldAfterAll.com. And Ben, where can people check you out?
Ben Lappin, Lappin Travel, and it's on Facebook and Instagram. So it's Ben Lappin Travel.
All right, check him out as well. All right, and we'll have a live show this Sunday night because we missed it last week because I was stuck on an airplane. But we'll have take your calls Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. All right, we'll be back in on Friday. So until then, you guys have a great midweek. So for Ricky, Scott, and Ben, I'm Mike. Wishing you a great day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. That was a good one. Let me save this one. And when Scott gets back, we'll do the other one. Let's see.
Hooray.
2609.
And Ricky, no, we did not see Kirkpatrick. If I had, trust me, I would have got a picture.
You actually, yeah, you do
right?
know who he is. Yes,
Yeah.
you would have taken a picture with him,
Yeah.
and then you would have sent it to me and been like, "Ha sucker! Look at who I met."
The guy who I didn't know who he was like a tall African American dude that had just a look. He was probably 6'5".
It could be anybody. Oh, I wonder if it was Brooke or what's his twin brother? They both play for the NBA.
I don't think he was tall enough to be in the NBA. He was barely taller than me.
Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, they're like 7
He was
foot.
tall like me for like an average dude, but he wasn't NBA tall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just heard tall, and I just went with.
No.
I know that they're big Disney fans, so.
Okay. So we're gonna ask for questions, but if we don't get any, you guys are gonna have to ask questions.
Oh man, you guys talking about all those cocktails when we had to pee?
Dude, we're live. No, just kidding.
I know we're live.
Your point.
Show. Okay, here we go. So we can get this done. All right, 20. So we don't have a live show. So this will be 2610. This will be consecutive. Okay, here we go. Welcome to episode 2610 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you, and get ready. It's last weekend before Christmas. It's time to get those wrapping skills honed and ready to go. And I'm not talking about being, run DMC. You better get out the Scotch tape and the scissors. Don't run with them. And have a good time this weekend. It's the time to, if you haven't watched The Grinch, It's a Wonderful Life, Charlie Brown Christmas, you guys will be proud of me. I watched Disney Christmas Carol.
Oh, that's Mickey's Christmas Carol?
Yes, I did. You know why?
Yeah.
Because it was on the bus on my transfer from the cruise back to the airport.
That's one of my favorites.
So I had to watch it. Yeah, I couldn't help it. It was on all the screens.
It's good.
Pretty good, actually. Actually, you know what, though? It's kind of like, I know it's older, but like, there's like scary parts in it. Like,
yes.
He got buried alive. Like, there's I'm pretty sure the devil came out.
As a child, let me tell you, Mickey's Christmas Carol scared the bejeebus out of me. Like, I legit, it was terrifying. I'm not gonna lie. But I love watching it now. But yeah, no, that scene at the end.
That's exactly what I thought. I was like, this is like a Mr. Toad. Like,
no. It is terrifying, actually. So yeah.
Yeah, I was like, he's getting buried alive. I think I'm not.
Yes.
I was kind of nodding off. I was like exhausted. I'm like, oh man, I'm sad because I'm off the cruise and I'm tired, and I'm like kind of nodding off on the bus, and
no, it's terrifying.
Taking me to the airport, and I got to sit at the airport for 10 hours to my flight, and just bummed. And then I'm watching this movie. Then dude, I'm pretty sure Scrooge just got thrown in a pit and getting buried alive. I was like, this isn't good. Anyway, what's good is going to be the show, because we're going to be taking questions, talking, just kind of wrapping up our talk about the treasure. So joining us, Scotty G, Must See Adventures up in Michigan. Scott, happy Friday. What's up?
Happy Friday, Mike. You know what else is good? And I thought this is the route you were going to go, because on TV, I gave you these excitement thumbs up. Happy first round ever of a 12-team college football playoff today. I am not leaving the couch, basically, for the next 2 days.
Yep, tonight it's all Indiana. and then 3 games tomorrow.
We're
I
gonna
mean,
have a home game college football. This is insane to me that this is actually happening. I'm excited to see how it plays out. I know there's a lot of conversation. I know this is a sports podcast, but a lot of conversation about how this bracket works, and I'm just very intrigued to see how this plays out. I think it's going to change for the future personally, but it's going to be cool to see like history being made tonight. A team hosting a college football game on their playoff game on their campus. It's wild to me.
Yeah, just a little behind the scenes. When Pam asked me about going on this cruise, I did immediately say, "What weekend is it?" Because if it was going to be this weekend, it was going to be a hard no. I mean, as much as I love Disney Cruise Line, it was not going to happen for the first.
Well, Ben is very thankful that it wasn't.
I had to miss one a couple last year because it was homecoming for Mallory's cheer, and killed me. That whole game, I was like, God, if this is a 48-0 game, I'm gonna be kicking myself. But it was a good game. I mean, not as good as a Disney cruise, but you're dad. All right, I'm not even thinking back on it. Okay, Ricky's here. DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, TheMouseForLess.com. Ricky, happy Friday. What's up? You gotta make tough choices as a parent.
Happy Friday. Yeah, getting ready for Christmas down in Florida. So excited to spend time with the family and gonna have a really, really, really good time. Excited because I think I've talked about it, but I have Lucy's first haircut scheduled for Monday at the Harmony Barbershop, and I'm so excited. Like I'm ready. Let's do this. Her teachers have had to pull her hair into a ponytail the past few days because her bangs are so long that they're like covering her eyes. And I'm like, I'm sorry, baby, you just gotta wait a few more days until I can get you a haircut. So
that's great, Ricky. That's super awesome.
I know. I scheduled it out like literally at the 60-day mark. I kind of was thinking about it, and I'm like, oh, I really, we're almost at the 60-day mark of Christmas, and I really should check to see if there's any availability around then, when it'll be. And I looked at the 60-day, and I'm like, oh man, that's when we're gonna be there. I probably should book this. And so there was like 2 slots left when I did it. So I'm really excited about it. I'm gonna, of course, film the whole thing. I don't think I'll cry, which is good, but I'm totally gonna film the whole thing. So I'm so excited.
You won't cry, she will.
No, I mean, probably. Yeah, actually, she probably will. But
me and Mike need to go back in there and get some cuts.
Yeah.
Pixie dust.
There, we had some great.
I did see Ben with some pixie dust in his beard. Actually, that's what
yes, absolutely.
Well, speaking 100%. Of, we're going to talk about something real quick. So Ben Lappin, again, joining us from Wednesday's show, sailed with me on the Disney Treasure this past weekend. Ben, happy Friday. And big plans for the weekend besides
right, happy Friday. And we've just got, of course, at this time of the year, just more Christmas parties. So we've got my wife's family, they're coming over. So we are hosting this year. They always alternated between all the cousins now, now that everybody's grown up, gotten older and everything. So yeah, just last minute, I've got a huge long list of honey-do list to get ready for tomorrow then.
Yeah.
But wait a second, your wife's Clemson. I mean, does she want to talk any smack to fellow agent Jimmy real quick?
Well, I mean, she doesn't really have anything to say right now because, Carolina beat Clemson this year. So, we're good on that.
Okay,
she's still groveling on that.
We don't mind trash talking on the Be Our Guest podcast when it comes to college football. You just got to back up your stuff. You got to be careful what you say. Okay, so today we're just going to be just kind of wrapping up some loose ends with the Disney Treasure sailing, stuff we missed on Wednesday, and taking questions. But so if you have questions in the chat, drop them in if you are headed there. Let's see. Little Sweets 9 over on Instagram is asking, how do they keep the kids out of Sarabi after hours? That is one that is also true of the Wish because of the physical construction of this class of ship, which is why I said on Wednesday's show, I prefer the Tube and Evolution on the Dream and the Fantasy, and also kind of how it's structured on the Magic and the Wonder. Scott, you were on the Wish too. I mean, do you feel the same way with kind of how, because again, the adult area on the Wish and the Treasure is forward, where on the other ships it's aft and low. What are your thoughts in general on the adult?
This was not thought out well. I'm just going to say that right now, how they laid this out. And it's one of my biggest pet peeves of the Wish, and will be on the Treasure as well. Because it's very easy for someone under 18 to come into that club. Like right across the hallway is like another like trivia, like hosting games area where where a lot of teenagers and younger children hang out, and they like to bounce back and forth between the two. And it's just a small space for both venues to begin with. But I remember watching a Match Your Mate on the Wish, and so many times the host had to stop the show and interrupt and like say, "Hey, anyone under 18 has to leave." And like, I hated
Mm,
that to be
yeah.
honest. Like, I did not like that interruption, and I'm sure the same thing's going to happen on the Treasure here too. Like, basically, it's the cast members have to kind of monitor it, and if they see someone that they think is underage, they kind of have to politely ask them to leave, and they kind of pause the show, which is unfortunate.
I
So,
wonder, because if it remind me, it's kind of like open air a little bit, right?
yeah, because in the second level it is like I
Yeah,
remember
second
we
level.
hung out in some booths that I could like give a high five to someone walking by basically, so they
So,
can
like,
definitely hear in.
level.
I wonder if in the future, obviously not now, but like maybe they work to enclose. I know it defeats kind of the purpose in a weird way, but like at least enclose it and make it a little more private. That would I feel like that would fix some of the problem with Luna and obviously Sarabi, and I'm sure whatever is going to be on the Destiny is going to be exactly the same too. So like we don't know what that one is at this point, but I feel like if they enclosed it a little bit, it would make it more private and not as big of a problem. I agree. It's super awkward where it is on the ship and the fact that it is to open air, and it's just I don't love that part. I don't love that it's 2 levels either. Like I feel like if you're up on the second level, like you're not really interacting. Like I don't know what the point is of being up there, So I'm with you guys. I don't love what they've done with that adult space on this class of ship on the Triton. I think that it was poorly done as well. So
I think what they did was they constructed it to be like a mini Walt Disney Theater, right? So they could do smaller productions in there. And it is like if you don't want to have an interactive space, it is nice, right? If you just want to sit back and watch the show, even from the second level, it is great, right? But for example, like there was a Match Your Mate, speaking of, on our cruise. And there again, it was really hard to find like married couples.
I bet
on our
cruise. On that ship, I bet
just travel agents and radio. They had radio, right? And so, but there were some married couples because like you could bring a guest, and some people brought their significant others. And so one of the young, like the most recently married couple was 2 years. That tells you something. Like, because usually it's like 2 days on a typical cruise, or like we got married yesterday or something. So they were 2 years, and they were sitting in front of us, and we were up on the top deck, on the upper level, and so they had to go all the way out and go down and all that stuff. And so again, it's not ideal. So again, for interactive shows, it's not well. And that's kind of piggybacking on that is one of my pet peeves is that the fan. And again, this is not gonna be a negative show, but this is just one of those things that I think and these ships have a lot of pluses over the other ships, a lot. But you're going to see this is that the Triton Lounge, and I think I forget what it's called on the Wish, but that space is so small compared to the D Lounge right off the main lobby on the Fantasy and the Dream.
Yeah.
That is such a perfect space on those ships. And this space is so small. When you have something,
I mean, you might not have felt it on this cruise, maybe because of the media. Just know, summertime Wish. I mean, people were laying down on the ground. Like you had no place to sit. Like in that space, and that is just a fire code issue if you ask me in the first place. But like why did they make that space so small where they know so many people are going to be drawn to karaoke and big things like that? It just it boggles my mind a little bit on the design of that a little bit. I mean,
like you said, Ricky, whenever we were on the Dream, I'm sorry. Yeah. Like Ricky, whenever we were on the Dream or on the Magic together, the adult area over there, it was in its own room, and you walked by it, but it was closed off.
It was closed off,
And maybe if they did something like that, but on this one, whenever you're walking by, Sarabi, it's open air. Yeah, you'd have to actually walk into it to interact with it, but
you can still hear everything. Yeah,
still hear everything. Yeah, so maybe if they did, like you said, if they did close off, the wall part of it, then I think that might be a little bit more exclusive to the adults. But,
I think that would be a really a great idea moving forward. And when I wish they'd do it on the the Destiny. They won't. But I hope that maybe when they do a dry dock of these ships in the future, that's something that they look into, because it's got to be a common complaint that happens on these ships, I'm sure. So
There were hardly any kids on our cruise too, by the way.
Right, of course, yeah.
And
So
of course, this cruise, like, I'm not with my family, so we got to just real quick. We got the Castaway Keys. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to Serenity Bay, right? But that was like you had to think like, no, you want to stay at the family beach today because like everybody was at Serenity Bay. Like it was like you had to reverse engineer.
Yeah, reverse course, yeah.
I went right back to the family beach and found a hammock, and I'm like, this is Serenity Bay today because nobody has kids. Anyway, so question from Holly Cox. We kind of talked about this on a Wednesday show. She's asking, how was the food in the Coco restaurant? Looks so fun. Again, to me, best restaurant, any ship in the Disney Cruise Line fleet. Great entertainment, awesome atmosphere, and very like Tex-Mex menu. I mean, just it's not fancy. It's just good Tex-Mex food. I mean, Ben, I don't think anything was fancy in that restaurant. It was just really good kind of Tex-Mex to me.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. You know, from the empanadas to the enchiladas, you know, the Mexican, you know, the everything.
I'm hungry now. Yeah.
Dude, I mean, yeah.
Especially now, and Mike, you didn't mention it again, but you know, as soon as you sit down, they're bringing out chips and salsa. So I mean, that right there just says everything.
Yes.
What other stuff can I do? I mean,
what
else I have on the board?
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
There you go.
There we go. I got everything going. Scott, what you got?
So I had a question related to the food that I'm curious if I know you guys didn't go here, but I'm curious, and I have a feeling I know the answer, but I just want everyone to know, like, is the Palo and like the adult dining like the same setup as it is on the Wish? Like, did you guys go up there at all? Did you see the decor? Did you see the bar at all? I'm assuming it's very similar to how the Wish is decorated.
It is. It's they have a Shantae and they have the rose that takes you in.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what I'm saying, you know what it is. Like, so the rose is basically the kind of the bar. It's the equivalent of the Meridian on the Dream and the Fantasy. So it's kind of like your pre-show bar where you can kind of get a drink before dinner for both the private adult restaurants, Palo and Ashante, but they're on the Treasure. I saw these because I didn't go tour them, but
were they even open? Were they even offering those meals?
But see, I didn't even know that. But all these other like people that were smarter than me are like, hey dude, we're going to Palo. I'm like, what? I didn't even know it was an option because like when we did our online check-in, you couldn't book them, but you could when you got on the ship.
You had to get on the ship.
But I know you wanted, but the thing is that the 3-nighter, the 3 restaurants, you want to try those for like the
100%.
research. But,
I mean, I'd rather be in the main.
But I would have done like a second dinner and gone to Palo. I would have 2 dinners.
Scott's thinking the right way.
No, that's true. You could have done that. But see, I like, but we haven't talked about this either. Festival of Foods is on this class of ship, which that's one of the definite pluses and minuses of this class of ship, and I'll tell you why. Festival of Foods is kind of like this mini food court that's up on the pool deck. It's the equivalent of like Flo's V8 Cafe, drive-in cafe that's on the Dream and the Fantasy, towards the back of the pool deck. But I think this is superior on this class of ship.
I agree.
Because it has Donald's Cantina, where you can get, here comes the train.
That would be me. Yeah.
Crazy. You have a train that just goes by like that.
I sure do.
Anyway, ambiance. So at Donald's Cantina, you can get soft tacos, you can get burritos, you can get bowls, rocks. You also can go to the rib station and get like pulled pork sandwiches, ribs, all that kind of barbecue stuff. There's a burger station that has burgers and fries, and I got a great bratwurst with sauerkraut one night. Sorry, Ben.
Yikes! I'm glad I wasn't in that room. Woo!
I got it way late at night. And then but here's why I say it's not the best. They have an the ice cream cone station, but it's not self-serve, so you don't get to try out your skills. They give you as many ice cream cones as you want, but I kind of like to work my magic.
It's nice, and I think I heard you say this on one of your live Instagram feeds too. Is like the hours of those are just bonkers to me.
That was what I was going to say. They close. They should be open till midnight. All the windows.
They really need to be open later. Yeah,
or 11. They're not open till midnight.
And I'm not trying to be a negative guy. I'm just trying to bring the other like devil's advocates on some of these.
I think only the pizza windows open until midnight. I think the other ones all close up early.
Yes, ice cream.
The ice cream stays open. Okay. All
right, that's good.
But I mean, get a good bratwurst.
No.
Sorry.
Especially if you do like early dining, like
you want a snack.
Cruising is an eating vacation. I feel like I'll never forget the classic Disney Cruise Line director Jimmy. He was on the Dream for years. He still might be, and he always says, "If you see it, eat it," which I fully believe when you're on a ship. And just to have like food options close early, like is just bonkers to me. But you still got the room service, so you can still order the room service.
Yes, and that is the trick. You go to the room service and get whatever you want. 24-hour room service for free. You just got to tip. A little sweet to say, one of my favorite things to do on the other ships is to grab an afternoon coffee and a little pastry from the coffee shop. So you can get that at the Cove Cafe. It's on the back of the deck 13 back there. But I hear the Wish doesn't offer them. Is that the same on the Treasure? Yes, I did go in there and look for the little pastries because like on the Fantasy this summer, they have like a whole case of free little pastries and stuff you can grab even if you don't buy coffee. The Wish does not have that, and neither does the Treasure. There's no pastries in their Cove Cafe. So that is, but here, because I think I was telling Ben or I was telling Chris or somebody about this. I was hankering for a sweet like in the afternoon, I think Friday afternoon, it's so terrible. Like you're eating all the time. Why was I needing this? I didn't need it, but I was hankering for something sweet besides an ice cream cone. I mean, first world problems, right? And I was thinking, God, where could I just get like a cookie or something? But like it was like 2:30 and Marceline Market closed at 2. So nothing, like no restaurants were open at this time.
Which is a problem.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is not really a problem, dude. People are like the world's smallest violin on mic right now. But I'm like, I need like a cookie. And I could,
because your schedule could be so different than someone else's where they like this is when they're waking up for the day. Like because they partied hard last night. They need to eat something.
Hey, yeah, that's true. It could have been. I mean, I've been up since like 6. But okay, so I'm just like, I need a cookie, right? And here's the only really option. You could have gone to Jambo Sweets, which is the like it's like
Penelope's on the
I think on the Dream. They all
you got to pay for it. Yeah,
you got to pay, and it's not much. It's like
it's very minimal.
Like a little thing of macaroons. I mean, they got hard ice cream. They got gelato. I mean, it's amazing in there. They got so many great things, cake pops and Rice Krispie treats and sugar cookies. It's like being at the confectionery on Main Street USA right there in your ship. So you can go there, and that's okay.
I will just as a heads up, because I'm very famous for bringing home snacks in my purse. You cannot bring home a snack from the cruise ship with you. So just if you do buy something from one of those sweet shops, you just know you got to eat it on the ship. You can't bring it home. So keep that in mind.
They did sell like a pre-package of macaroons on that.
Yeah, if it's pre-packaged, obviously I think you can bring that. But like I wanted to bring home like a cupcake, and they were like, no, you got to eat it on the ship. So that was won't for me. No, I mean, again, first world problem. I got to eat my cupcake on the ship. But yeah. So just heads up.
Okay, so what other questions we have? Well, go ahead,
so
man.
Was there a pirate night? I saw you dressed up as a pirate, right?
Yeah, there was.
So did they do like a special dining, like like on some like cabanas will sometimes have like a special like pirate night kind of like hour window? Did they do anything like that where they had a special like menu or anything?
So they didn't give us the pirate menu because they wanted to give us because it was the Cocoa night, right?
Yeah.
And they had us all like in the same menu because it wasn't selling at capacity. So we all dined in the same restaurant the same night. So it was the Cocoa night. So none of us wanted the pirate menu because we wanted to have the Cocoa menu because that's why we were there. Right. So we did have pirate night, and like on the Wish, dude, they played the fireworks with a live band.
Oh yes,
dude, I know, dude, that is so cool. I geek out over that. That was awesome because they had that same show on the Wish with the band.
So good. That was one of my highlights of the Wish, honestly.
That's awesome, dude. That band rocks. They earn their money. They're playing like nobody's business. So that's pretty cool. So what else we missed? It's shopping. You want to talk about that, Ben? I mean, the shops. We have Mickey's Main Sale, some other places.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do want to touch base real quick on the Cove. If you did want to go up there and get a cappuccino or a latte, anything like that has the milk, foam on, or the foam on top of it, you can get any of the the laser engraved things on top of it. And I even asked, I said, which ones do y'all have? And he went through all of them. So I mean, they've got a ton of them. They've got all the different ship names. They've got all the main characters and then some. So if you want something like that, it doesn't cost anything extra. You can go, or the coffee does, but as far as like, getting the thing on the top of it, that doesn't cost anything extra. And it's just something, just to kind of spruce up the coffee itself. And they do have a good many cigars up there as well. So if that's something that you like, and there's only certain spots that you can smoke a cigar on, on the upper decks, but they do have a good selection of that.
They sell cigars up there? I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Of course, Ben found that out. So,
right?
Yeah.
You got to have a cigar and bourbon thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd have been so baller if I'd have walked in, you were smoking a cigar and having like an old fashioned. Dude, you should have totally.
You can't smoke it inside.
No.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
You
Did they?
gotta-
I know on the other ships, the coffee bars, they have the coffee card where if you get it stamped, you can get a free coffee. Did you check to see if they have that on this one still?
I did not.
That's
No,
okay.
And they didn't have anything that they were advertising it.
Yeah, I think sometimes you got to ask for it. So
here's the thing, like they didn't also like give any discounts for like being platinum or anything either. So I don't think they were offering any of those kind of discounts at all during this cruise. So
I'm sure.
they
Yeah,
probably
because
were doing that, but they weren't giving you any discounts for any.
Yeah, of course, and understandably so. Yeah.
So I'm sure that is probably an option, but they were not giving any kind of
That. Yes, I understand. Yes.
Were they doing any like drink tastings? I know in Media Cruise are kind of weird, but I'm assuming
No.
you're gonna have the similar offerings that you see on the Wish though for those like tequila classes and martinis and things like that. Yeah,
I'm sure they're gonna have plenty of those. But
could you imagine doing one of those in like the Haunted Mansion Lounge or something? You know, like
Oh my god.
So the Haunted Mansion is in the space that's a Star Wars bar on the Wish. And I don't know that they use that for tasting.
They don't. I think it's because of the 45-minute limit. But like the Periscope Pub would probably do like a beer tasting or something, and that would just be like really cool. I think to do one of those.
Yes, I was talking about. I just don't think they wanted us to get too sloshed.
I'm sure.
Sailing, and we're trying to because everybody in there is posting everything to social media immediately that we're doing. I mean, everybody was constantly like making reels, so they probably didn't want us doing tequila tastings.
Probably not. Good call.
Turned out well. They did give us 2 free drinks. I mean, they want us a little like happy, but not too happy, is what I was thinking. That was the only thing I could think. So, shopping, Mickey. We had Mickey's Main Sale. I think that's the name of the store on the Wish too, as I recall. It's basic general merchandise, but they have lots of great stuff. And they said that the inaugural stuff is going to be for the entire first year. So if you want anything that says inaugural, you can get it for the entire first year of sailing. There's a lot of it.
Sounds like a new book of cruise, huh?
Yeah. Right.
I want to. It's kind of turquoisey, kind of their theme.
I know you want to go to the shopping, but I have an observation. Like,
that's over.
Your voice and the way you talk about this ship, you love it. I can just tell. Like, I can hear it on your I can hear it on your Instagrams, and I know how you feel about the Wish. Like, so is it really like the bringing in the Haunted Mansion, like some of the theme park stuff, like really like did a like 180 on you? It almost seems like
the Wish made me mad with the track. And I'll be honest, because ships are for different folks, right? And I mean, 90% of the people could care less about the Deck 4 track. And I'll be honest, I don't even run outside most time. Like we went on the Fantasy, I didn't run on the track. I don't even know why it's even bothering me anymore because I'm a treadmill guy. I ran in Senses every day on the Treasure, and the Senses is great treadmill. I mean, they're brand new. Obviously, the ship's brand new. Everything I did, I was like, I was probably one of the first people to do this. I know there's been like 5 or 6 sailings and they crossed with it, but I was like, I'm probably the first.
I felt that way about the cabin that was staying. Like, exactly. We're one of the first like few families. Yeah, I get that.
I'm probably in the first 100 miles on this treadmill. It'll probably have 10,000 miles on it at some point, but I'm probably in the first 100 or whatever. Yeah, I'm a geek, like I'm an idiot. But I was like one of those things, and it doesn't even bother me anymore. But I do like after dinner to be able to walk around on the track, to do a lap or two. Like because my wife and I did that, this summer, like because of 7-night cruise, we had 3 sea days. So in the afternoon, like if we didn't have anything scheduled, if we had like an hour till trivia, we'd walk 3 or 4 laps just to, because you are eating a lot and you're eating rich foods. So sometimes it just helps settle your stomach to walk around and kind of just see the ocean and feel the breeze. But it is kind of a challenge on that ship. A lot of times I just go up to deck 11, which wasn't ideal, and kind of walk around there, but you got to walk like kind of that back end, like by the Marceline Market and by Jambo's Treats and the little back store. They sell cool shirts. Well, let's talk about the shopping. So Ben, you went into that back store and you talk shopping in general. I hate shopping. So
you're fine. So that one was the Forget Me Nots. And I liked it. That's going to be where you're going to get, all your swimsuits, if you forgot it, your suntan lotion, things like that. Your sun shirts, anything like that. But the one thing that I really liked about there, they did have a couple inaugural, things up there, hats, shirts. But the one things that I really liked were the T-shirts, because everybody's not into, the quarter zip polos or anything else. But the reason that I liked the T-shirts is because a lot of them were themed, So of course I've got, the Haunted Mansion one and the Skipper Society one, and that's what I really, really.
That's cool. I like that they have like the theme bars and stuff like that as shirts. That's really awesome.
That's
I really
dangerous
like
for me.
that. Is
I'm
very
just saying.
dangerous. Oh, I 100% agree that that's very dangerous. Yeah.
It was dangerous for me because I kept bringing, I'm showing the kids, giving them their gifts. I'm like, all right, that shirt's for me. That shirt's for me.
Yeah.
That shirt's for me. And
Merry Christmas to Ben.
Yes.
Yeah, Kristen even asked me, she's like, can I just take some of those and, wrap them for you real quick?
Yeah, exactly. Can I borrow those for a minute? It's fine. You'll get them back. I just need to keep them for a minute. It's fine.
But then they did have another shop that was downstairs that had, the Dooney and Burke purses and things like that. And of course, it had more of the inaugural, sailing, shirts and hats. But then it also had like the Haunted Mansion clock that you could get. It had, a bunch of the Skipper Society things that you could buy as well. Now those, I think the clock itself was, $80, so it's not cheap, but at the same time, if you want that part of, the theme park nostalgia to bring home with you, it's a great thing to do.
Ben, did you find like a lot of jewelry stores too? Kind of like,
Oh yeah,
yeah, because like
Tiffany
that's
and
the Wish had so much jewelry outside the bayou, and I'm like, and I know a lot of people like to shop for jewelry while they're on a cruise. I totally get that, but like, it almost felt like it was like triple the amount of jewelry stores than there were like the shirt,
Right.
the clothing stores, which always kind of bugged me a little bit.
Yeah, and of course, with this one being the preview sailing, everybody was in the actual shops, Mickey's
Yep.
Main Sale and everything else, buying that merchandise.
yeah.
I only saw maybe 2 people in the jewelry shops.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that was mainly at the time that they were giving out the free charms, like they
Of
do
course.
every day.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
That was it.
I don't want to say that's wasted space, but sometimes it feels like wasted space. All
I
those
get
jewelry
that.
stores.
Yeah.
Especially
I
on
know.
this class of ship. I feel
I
like
think
there's
that
way
they
too
would
much
have
of
a
it.
better, return on investment and revenue wise if they put more Disney
shops.
Disney shops there instead of the, they could take all of those and combine it into one.
But you know that they're getting a licensing fee from those companies that are like, Tiffany's paying an arm and a leg to have their name on the Disney ship. So, I mean, Disney's getting the money anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But
Or maybe like another Adventureland bar somewhere over
yeah.
I
I think
would be nice.
I think the thing that Scott, you kind of mentioned to Mike about how you heard his enthusiasm over for the ship. And I think one thing that I've kind of realized about the difference between this ship as well as I feel like the classic ships, with the Magic, the Wonder, the Dream, and the Fantasy, and the difference between the Wish is in a weird way, it feels like the Wish isn't done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it's halfway. Like, they just kind of did stuff, but it didn't take it to the next level. Whereas I feel like with this ship, there are areas on the Wish where I feel like they did. Obviously, like the Star Wars, bar, and like I do feel like Tiana's is definitely very well themed, and there are areas that are very well themed. But then I feel like they just kind of like were like, okay, that's good enough. Whereas I feel like with all the other ships, like they made them feel so opulent and they encompassed everything, and it feels like they just really went over the top with all the other ships. And I think that that's kind of what I'm noticing about the difference between the Wish, and I feel unfortunately is going to be the same way with the Destiny, is that and hopefully they change that, because the concept art I've seen for the Destiny doesn't wow me. But everything I've seen about the Treasure, it really wows me. And I don't necessarily think that has to do with the fact that there's a lot of things themed to the theme parks, which of course does help. But I feel like they've just really taken things and they've just made it to the next level. And I don't know if that's something that you guys felt when you were on this ship, especially Mike comparing it to the Wish. But like, that's kind of what I'm noticing, is that they just took it to the next level a little bit. They just oomphed it a little.
So the way that I just gotta say this, 'cause I have a lot of folks that are going to be sailing the Wish, and I don't want you to think you're not going to have
No, definitely not. Yeah,
great ship, and I just want to make that clear. The Wish is the same layout, and it's got the Star Wars bar. If you're a Star Wars fan, you're going to
it's 100% geek out. Yeah.
I mean, it's a great ship. It's got the hero zone. It's got you're going to have an amazing time. So I'm not anyway saying that, but the facts are. And I had this conversation with somebody. I don't think it was Ben, but it was somebody. The facts are the Wish was made during COVID.
True.
And the Treasure was not. The treasure was made after the Wish, and the Wish is Gen 1 of a new class of ship. The treasure was made as the second ship in the class. And of course, they have got to hear feedback after a year of sailings with the Wish, and they got to hear what people liked and what people. Now, of course, they have the structure. The structure could not change because they were
Right.
shot at the same time. But as far as thematic elements and what goes into those rooms in those spaces, those are more malleable. You know what I'm saying? The Imagineers can go different ways with how they're going to, enrich experiences and how they're going to use said square feet in each venue. And I think they heard that, how they're going to program the ship. And I think with the treasure, they're preaching to the choir with the Be Our Guest podcast audience, right? We are hardcore, because like you tell somebody about the Adventurers Club, they look, off the street, they know who that is, or the Jungle Cruise. Most people don't even know the Jungle Cruise. If you tell them, Skipper Dan or anything like that, they don't know that reference. But you talk to somebody that's, the treasure, like that's their people. You know what I'm saying? Like in the Haunted Mansion, if you talk about a doom buggy, somebody off the street doesn't know what a doom buggy is. But dude, every person in that Haunted Mansion lounge is geeking out over that, man. I mean, the Chilling Challenge, like let's go. But I mean, nobody knows what Chilling Challenge is on the street, most people. I mean, but it's made for us, the collective us listening to this show. This is the theme park ship, which is, and the fantasy, or sorry, the Wish is just a beautiful, beautiful ship that's going to appeal. It's got more of a broad appeal. It's opulent. I'm not saying this to be like stereotypical, but it's more of like a princessy ship to me.
Oh, absolutely. It's a very princessy ship.
I honestly kind of like the theme better of the Wish, which is what I was trying to get to eventually, is that the Wish actually draws more to me than the treasure almost, because I like the bright colors and all that, and I love like the theme of the lounges. So it's weird. Like I want to do the treasure too, but I'm excited to compare the two. But like I that's what's beautiful about Disney Cruise Line. It's got a theme for everybody, right? You know what I mean? Like
to me, kind of in a way, like the Wish kind of feels Fantasyland a little bit to me, where the treasure's a little bit Adventureland at sea. Kind of a loose comparison there.
I know, I see that. Yeah.
I don't know. But I mean, they're great. And it's just different experiences. I mean, you're still going to go amazing places and have amazing times. I mean, it's like one's not better than the other. They're just different. I mean, and you're going to do basically the same thing on both ships. You're just going to go different places. But I mean, again, if you know me, I mean, you guys, you have been listening to my show. Like when I went to Disneyland's the greatest thing on earth. Like the last thing I do is like the last hotel I stayed at's the best hotel ever. I mean, I do this every time. This is just. I get excited, and that's why I love Disney. I mean, I just get excited for everything I do. But the treasure is amazing. I mean, they really have listened. I get excited when Disney listens, and I think they apply feedback. And I think they really did this on this ship. So what else? Because we have a couple more minutes. Anything else like to talk about?
Did you order any food like at the Periscope Pub or any like the additional? Like, because I know how you can order like cheese curds, or you can do something like you can order extra
pretzels. I did, and they have wings, pretzels.
Yeah. Did you see anyone ordering stuff? Or
I saw the wings. I saw a couple of people order them, and they looked really good. But it was one of those that Mike and I were in there 10, 15 minutes before we had to go to dinner.
Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about
point ordering wings?
Ben went to Hook's Barbary. We kind of hung out there and then looked at it for a bit. What did you think of Hook's Barbary?
Hook's Barbary was good. I liked it. I liked the concept of it, especially if you want to go in and get, a haircut, get a beard trim, something like that, and sip on. I'm dressed.
Well, I was trying to explain, Scott. I was trying to explain to Ben immediately, like about how that worked. I probably butchered it. I was like, but you get like a coin or something. I was like, because we were all doing that.
He gave me a really good description of it. And they did have, a couple in there with the challenge coins, but of course, with it being the second sailing that they were doing, they didn't have many of them in yet. They got the list of them, and I'll send it to you, Scott, so of the different ones, but they didn't have those challenge coins in just yet. But at the same time, if you're not into getting the challenge coins, they did have a really, really good selection of bourbon and whiskeys and things like that. If you wanted to go in and sip it neat or on the rocks or smoke old fashions or whatever the case is, they really, really had a good setup. Now the only downside of it is they've only got two chairs on either side, so it's not a big venue. But if you wanted to go in there and get you drink before or after or during your haircut, it's a great place to go to.
And for
It's
folks,
gotten so popular. Like when we sailed the Wish, I feel like it was still kind of like a secret. You know what I mean? Like that there's like a bourbon bar inside this barbershop, which is like the coolest thing to me.
that's what I'm telling it. That's what I was gonna say. For folks who don't know what we're talking about, which is probably 90% of the people right now, Hook's Barbery. And okay, I know you got to wrap your head around this. Is basically a barber shop that's in the middle of deck 5, I think, on the starboard side. It's just in a random spot. Like it's really strange. And it
Feels like where the D lounge should be, almost like
Right.
in that area.
you just come across this place, and basically what it is like a 2-seater barber shop. But in the front right of this barber shop, it's like a bourbon stand. Like there's like all these bourbons, and like Ben said, like 2 seats in front of it, and like there's 2 seats off to the other side. And high end, I guess, bourbons. And like you can do like these smoked old fashions, and like they do all kinds of fancy stuff in there. But I mean, it's really I don't understand.
Now it gets crowded because like it's
because everybody knows about it now. Yeah.
Like when we did our podcast cruise, man, we had like 12, 15 people in that place. We were packed.
Oh my God, I'm surprised. And one of our listeners, I think Matt at the time, was getting a beard trim, and we didn't even know it at the time, or a haircut or something.
Who's under that towel? Who's under that towel? And of course, they have the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique on these ships, like they do the other ships. But they also have the Tangled salon, which is for the princesses that are older than can legally go into the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique anymore. So for the women that wish they were little girls, but they want to get their hair done still. So the ladies, and I guess anybody can go in there. I don't know. There were a lot of women getting their hair done in the Tangled salon. It seemed to be very popular.
So, Ben, I can't remember this. I know you said you spent some spa time. Was part of that the rainforest room? Did you check out the rainforest room? I can't remember you mentioned that on Wednesday.
Yeah, I spent all of my time was in the rainforest room.
Okay, yeah.
Because
did you do the rainforest room on another ship at all, like on the Dream? Or
on the Dream and the Magic as well.
Oh, so you are Mr. Spa, Mr. Rainforest.
Yes,
room.
yes.
How would you rank this rainforest room then compared to the other two? And knowing that they're all great, right? We're not bashing any of them. We know they're all.
Yeah, they're all great. All of them have the the hot tubs outside. So they're all the same on that aspect of it. The Magic, I like where you get the different the different rainforest or the different rain showers side by side, but they've got the sound effects that go along with it. So you've got the the tropical thunderstorm and everything else, and it has the scents to go with it. These on the Treasure did not, but it did have the different pressures. On the Dream or on the Magic, it is a little bit darker on the inside in the rainforest room, whereas this one had a lot of natural light. And then it had, the steam room, and then it had the dry sauna, and then it had the cold room or the frigid aquarium as well. So that was really, really cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So I would the thing is, just kind of wrapping this up, because we're getting, towards the end of the show here, that, if you have sailed the other ships, this is going to be a new experience for you. And I think that if you're somebody who obviously listens to our podcast, this is the next step. I mean, this is somebody that has gone to Walt Disney World, that is a fan of Disneyland, that knows the lore of the Jungle Cruise, that maybe back in the day spent time at Pleasure Island, went into the Adventurers Club, and, kungalooshed, with the crew. And I mean, if you did that at some point of your life, and as soon as you cross the threshold into the Treasure, you're gonna be like, man, I'm home, like immediately. Because seriously, in the grand lobby of this one, the chandelier is you got the Jasmine and Aladdin, they're the statue in the lobby. You got the genie's lamp sitting there, and it's lush. There's ferns. It's the oranges, the browns. It's got such a different feel to it. It really does. But it's, again, you're going to be hearing background loops from the Jungle Cruise area here and there, and it comes to like characters everywhere, just like the other ships. You just come upon them. But
right, that excited me. Not to interrupt, that excited me so much on your live. I said, I feel like I'm in the Jungle Cruise queue right now.
Yes!
It was just so cool. You're just walking around the ship, and I could just hear it. I'm like, oh my God, this is spectacular.
And that's what makes me super excited is they're not kind of scared to cross those streams of like, that's theme park and this is cruise line, right? And I think in some point of like Disney, like they would say, oh, we got to keep that as far as theme parks, and this is cruise line, and never should the two ever mix. Not now. Like you get tons of
If
now.
I'm walking down like a hallway on deck 7, I hear Skipper AWOL talking like that, I'm just gonna lose it. Like,
And I mean, like we were only on it for 3 nights. Like it was very rushed and a very kind of abbreviated experience. When you have 7 days and like 3 sea days on an Eastern Caribbean sailing, the programming is going to be outrageous. They got to find ways to do more and more and more with these kind of experiences, these venues. And I'm booking one. I mean, we're going to the Eastern Caribbean on this ship for sure.
I need to. My family, like you worked my family really well on this, Mike. With our last cruise being Royal Caribbean, which we really enjoyed a lot. Like we want to sail that again sometime too. But they're like, man, we need to get back on a Disney ship. Like, so we need to do
this one together because we need to do it Eastern on the Treasure.
It just sparked me so much just seeing like all the great the lounges, the venues, the dining restaurants. I was like, man, like Disney just knows how to, present a cruise ship. I mean, they just do such a good job, and I can't wait to get sailing away on it.
I'm so right. Yeah, this was lethal because I saw it and I was like, oh,
it's dangerous. I know, because those 7-night sailings are not the cheapest.
No.
Yeah, it's like Disney, right? I mean, it's like Run Disney. I thought, 100%. Like I said, I'm going to take up running because it's a cheap sport. Oh my, I don't even think about what I spent on running in my life in the last 15 years.
Like, should I do annual passes? No, let's just do a cruise.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly. Yeah, choose wisely, as they say in the shows on the Disney Treasure. Choose wisely. That's what you got to do. All right, we're going to get out of here and let you get finished up with your Christmas shopping because it's crunch time, and it's getting there. So thanks for hanging with us here with the little Disney Treasure talk over the past couple of days. We'll be back to Walt Disney World. Sunday night, we'll be back together, though, live call-in show. So if you have any questions after hearing these 2 shows, Scott and I will be together. Scott is a Disney cruise expert as well, so we'll be talking about that. Join us at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. We'll try to match his numbers that he had last Sunday night over for his live. I'm jealous. I was stuck on an airplane. Couldn't even watch because internet was all sketchy.
It's all good, Mike. I know it's part of everyone's routine now, right? Yeah, like I know you're a man of routine, so I was like, I gotta do something, right? So.
I was like, dude, you're doing it with the Lions playing the Bills. I couldn't even get the game. The internet kept going in and out. It was a miserable flight.
Madness.
Delayed. There was a light or something made us like.
Dude,
45 minutes.
I thought you were like the terminal though. Like you spent like how many hours in the airport?
Oh, dude, I felt like I was in the terminal. I met Cindy. I met Maria and her son. I mean, I was like a meet and greet at Orlando.
I swore I saw on his Instagram at like 9 o'clock he was there, and then it's like 2 o'clock. Like Mike's still because I finally find my friends. I'm like, Mike is still at the airport.
I swear I thought the MCO Twitter account was going to put me out as like, how they put those dogs that you can pet like at Terminal A. I thought they're going to put like meet Mike Rallman at the Christmas tree. He's going to be here for the next 7 hours.
I mean, you should have just parked next to the world, like the tiredest traveler, like our guy.
No, I should have just sat there like him because that looked like me. Dude, I had to pace myself because I had, I was like, well, when do I wait to go get? Because
did he have Chipotle? How many Chipotle burritos did you have?
No, I didn't have that because I had a lot of Mexican on the cruise, so I had to hold off because I was having Taco Bell when I landed, of course. So I had because my son had Taco Bell too. I had Panda Express. I went orange chicken and honey walnut. Who cares? Nobody cares. Anyway, we are getting out of here. That's what we do. So don't forget, you want to book an awesome cruise on the Disney Cruise Line, you got to get on the Treasure. But all the ships are awesome. Come over to themagicforless.com, fill out that free no obligation quote form. We'll get you great onboard credit to have all kinds of fun with on us. Just don't use it for your gratuities, and we'll get you going. So check it out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports us throughout the year, but especially here during the holiday season. Just click through beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You guys are all-stars. Thank you so very much to our supporters. You can support us as well, just $5 a month. And for that support, you get a bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd love to have you. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give us a follow on the social media. Here we go. Here's our handles. Be Our Guest Mike for me. Ep Scott for Scott. Also check him out at Must See Adventures on YouTube. Ricky is at Ricky Nibs, RIKKINIBS. Check her out at DisneyWorldAfterAll.com. And Ben, where can folks check you out one more time?
Ben Lappin, Lappin Travel on Facebook and Instagram.
All right. So we're going to get out of here. We'll check in with you on Sunday night. The phone lines will be open. We need your calls. We're going to have a good time getting ready for Christmas and just talking Disney and life in general, just having a good time. It'll be it'll be like a live call-in show Christmas party for everybody that hangs out with us on Sunday night. So bring a Christmas hat, bring a Christmas story. Let's just have a good time and talk Sunday night. So until then, for Scott, Ricky, and Ben, I'm Mike, wishing you a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Yay.
Woohoo. Man, you guys got me psyched though, for real. Like every time you went live, Mike, or like Ben, like I was watching all your videos and photos, man. I was just like, man.
It was a great cruise.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. I can't wait to sail on the river.
I gotta admit, like I kept saying to my boy Jared, I was like, dude, like if these guys were bachelors, man, this would be the best cruise ever to be on right now.
Jesus, oh my God.
Dude, it was all women. It was, man. It was all women.
Oh my God.
It's crazy. Yeah,
No,
but
looked like a good time. I'm sure it was good to come back to your families.
It was
too, though.
Yeah, it was that ship is unreal. I mean, that ship was something. I mean, layout wise, I still think
that's my problem. That's my problem. Like the layout of the Wish, like, is what hurts me the most.
Yeah.
The class of the ship, I still like the Dream and the Fantasy better, but man, I like the Haunted Mansion bar. It's better than Trader Sam's. Like it's better than. It's probably
pound for pound. I think it's gonna be better than the Star Wars one for sure, easily. Yeah. I think the
Star
Wars
way better than Oh no, it's
absolutely.
It's twice as good as the Star Wars.
But I love the Bayou, so I'm very curious to see how this one, like the whatever
better than the Bayou.
You think so?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's better than the Bayou too.
Yeah.
So I love Megan Compass too. So like, I'm very curious to do some compare and contrasting for sure.
Periscope's better. Yeah.
So Mike Scott.
Oh, what up?
The girls wanted to say, hey, they've been bugging me.
Hey,
girls. Hi.
Do you guys want to go? Can they hear us, Ben?
Do what?
Can they hear?
Yeah.
Okay. You girls want to go on the treasure?
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
It was boring.
No, they don't believe you. Yeah.
Right.
Every Disney cruise is not boring.
No, exactly.
That one, because we had to go work. We were working. It was boring.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, my dinner I think is here now. I think I'm having panda. Ironically, man.
Nice.
Orange chicken.
I think so. Yeah.
Awesome.
Because they have like those family boxes. I think we just ordered.
Yes.
Like, a family box.
Oh my God,
Okay, that's good.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go because I'm gonna edit these two and go get some.
All right.
Sounds good.
Sounds
Have a
good.
good night, everyone.
Well,
Ben,
Bye.
good to see you.
Bye,
Night, girls.
Ben.
See
See you
you.
later.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
All right. See ya.
Later.